It's lockdown all over again, but that won't stop manufacturers from selling us the best beginner motorcycles money could buy in 2021. Napakaswerte natin, there are at least 20 choices of 400cc motorcycles. But here is my list of top 8 beginner bike motorcycles which I would personally buy if it were my own money. We have divided our list between the naked class and the sport class. We give importance to the price of the bike, the seat height, and the bike's performance. Dahil ito ang mga importanteng factors sa pagpili ng ating mga beginner riders. Okay, simulan na natin. And for our top 8, we have the CFMoto NK400. The NK400 is your shortest ticket to owning that big bike at the price of 219,800 pesos. Takaw tingin siya, mataas at matikas ang itsura. The sound of the exhaust is bassy, buo pero smooth. Hindi ito mapagkakailang big bike pag nakatabi mo sa kalsada. The seat height is quite high at 815mm. Kung ikaw ay nabibilang sa average Pinoy na 5 feet 4 inches, nakatiptoe ka na dito. It has a parallel twin engine at yung power ay nasa middle to high rev range. It has 41 horsepower and 32 Nm of torque with a top speed of 155 km per hour. For 2021, it now has LED lights, dual front disc brakes, and ABS. For our cons, the suspension is quite stiff and bouncy in corners. Umiinit ang makina niya pero hindi naman nalalayo sa init ng 1000cc engines. Hindi rin biro ang bigat ng NK400 at 205 kg. For reference, ang Yamaha R1 ay 200 kg lang. This bike is not for track riders at mahihirapan sumabay sa 1000cc big bike loops. Pero guys, this bike is perfect for weekend long distance rides, mountain twisties, and occasional commutes. And this will give you more power than you ever need. And for our top 7, we have the Kawasaki Z400. First time mong bibili ng big bike, but you want to make sure that every peso you have counts. Matibay ba yan? Maganda ba ang performance? Pasok ba yan sa budget? Ang pinaka-importante, pogi ba ako dyan? I'm happy to say that all the answer is yes for the Kawasaki Z400. Ito lang naman ang naked version ng sikat na Kawasaki Ninja 400. It comes at a price of 279 pesos and it has the same engine, chassis, brakes, and technology as that of the Ninja 400. This bike has a parallel twin engine that produces 45 horsepower and 38 Nm of torque with a top speed of 169 km per hour. Ang power delivery nito ay nasa middle to high rev range. Magaang ito at 165 kg, making it fast to accelerate and very easy to maneuver. Kung ikaw ay fan ng Kawasaki Sugoi design na makikita sa ZX2, Z900 at Z650, hindi ka magkakamali dito. The seat height is very low at 785mm. Abot na abot na ito ng average Pinoy at Pinay riders. Compared to the Ninja 400, the riding position of the Z400 is more upright, but you can get into a more aggressive tuck position if you want to. Bagay yan kapag attack mode ka sa twisties. The suspension is also 10% softer than the Ninja 400 to absorb the bumps on the road. Now the question is, who is this bike for? Kung ikaw ay daily commuter pero gusto mo ring ihataw ang motor sa mountain twisties kapag weekend, the Z400 is the perfect first big bike for you. And for our top 6, we have the KTM Duke 390, the Corner Rocket. Didiretsuhin ko na kayo. This bike is one of the most fun bikes to ride on this list. And much of that has to do with its torquey single-cylinder engine matched with a very light body. This bike produces 43.5 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque. But the Duke 390 is the lightest bike on our list at 158 kilograms. This gives the Duke 390 one of the best power-to-weight ratio and maneuverability. That's why KTM calls it the Corner Rocket. For 2021, the Duke 390 comes with TFT screen, LED headlights, ride-by-wire throttle, ABS, KTM My Ride app, upside-down forks, slipper clutch, and Super Moto mode. The Duke 390 have high seats at 820mm, so tiptoe pa din sa height na 5'4" ang average Filipino. The brakes are okay, but may need brake pad replacement for some competitive riding. Sa city streets, siya ay mabilis mag-accelerate at madaling i-maneuver. Sa highways, hindi ka kakapusin sa cruising speeds. Because of its reasonable price tag of 289,000 pesos, the Duke 390 is also one of the biggest favorites for racetrack riders in Clark International Speedway and Batangas Racing Circuit. This is because maintenance and upgrades are cheaper, and it wouldn't turn your life upside down even if you crash your bike. And for our top 5, we have the Black Arrow, the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401. Not every person has the same reason for going into motorcycles. Hindi lahat about maximum performance or aggressive riding. Hindi rin lahat ay puro machismo energy. Some are in it for the motorcycle lifestyle, for the feeling of freedom of riding a motorcycle and the expression of the urban lifestyle. That's where the Svartpilen comes in. This is the type of bike I will bring to work on a Friday. Dadalhin ko rin to pagpapasok ako sa graduate schools kapag weekend. Maghahanap ako palagi ng dahilan para gamitin to. I want to be seen with this bike. This bike is a mix of classic thinking and modern design. Mukha siyang refined but rugged at the same time. Because of its dark shade, off-road tires, engine guards and rails, mukha siyang industrial look. For an innocent passerby, he would think that this is a custom bike. Head-turner ito and a sure conversation piece. What's good about the Svartpilen is that its performance is also very good. And that is because the Svartpilen is actually a KTM Duke 390 in disguise. That's why you can buy this bike from KTM showrooms. It has the same engine and the same frame, but it has a different set of tires. Knobby tires pero maganda ang grip kahit sa corners. It has fully adjustable front forks and rear suspension. The seat height is very high at 835mm. Hirap na talaga dito ang 5'4" na Pinoy, pero kaya ng one-leg riding. I like its round LED headlights and its practical luggage rack on the seats and on the tank. This is good for off-road because of capable tires, but ground clearance is too low. The Philippine version gets cast wheels instead of spoke wheels. The panels are mostly made of plastic, but the build quality is premium. So, if you are into cafe racers, retro bikes, and scramblers, and the urban lifestyle is your thing, and you are on a limited budget, the Svartpilen is the perfect beginner bike for you. And for our top 4, we have the KTM RC390. The RC390 is the sports bike version of the fun bike KTM Duke 390. Ibang-iba talaga tong si RC390 compared sa ibang 400cc bikes. It's not merely trying to look like a sports bike. For all intents and purposes, the RC390 is the only legitimate sports bike in this 400cc category. This can be seen in the race-oriented components installed in this bike. It has very low clip-ons, the riding position is very low and aggressive. The brakes were co-designed by Brembo. It has upside-down forks, customizable foot pegs, and ride-by-wire throttle. For my friends who are competing in the Philippine Superbikes Championship, this bike is an upgrade to their current Duke 390. Just like the Duke 390, this bike produces 43.5 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque with a top speed of 167 km per hour. Mataas ang seats at 820mm. I really cannot recommend this bike to just any beginner rider. But if racing and sports bikes is mainly the reason you are getting into motorcycles, then the RC390 will deliver and will even exceed your expectations. And for our top 3 beginner bike, we have the 2021 Kawasaki Ninja 400. Kung pwede lang ako magkaroon ng second big bike, this would be it. And that says a lot about how much I love this bike. Coming from a 1000cc bike, I see the Ninja 400 as the perfect training bike for the racetrack. It is easier to learn from its moderate output of 45 horsepower and 38 Nm of torque. Sa 400cc, kaya mo nakababad dito sa red line. It accelerates fast but is never intimidating. The Ninja 400 is light at 168 kilograms. It changes direction very quickly but holds the line in those tight corners. The front and rear suspension are good in stock form. Medyo ingat lang sa brakes dahil medyo kulang siya pag sinasagad mo ang motor. The Ninja 400 is the perfect track bike because of its price of 331,000 pesos. Hindi ganun kasakit pag ikaw ay sumemplang. The race upgrades are also more affordable. Pasok siya sa budget ng isang regular employee na katulad ko. Now, for the road. This is a good beginner bike. I'm telling you, kaya niya makipagsabayan sa mga 1000cc. Sa mountain twisties, kitang-kita mo na hindi siya kinakapos at siya ay very agile. Kaya niya rin sumabay sa long rides, but I have to admit, naiiwan siya pag bakbakan na ng big bike sa highway. It is also a good commuter bike. Ang dali niya isingit sa traffic. Upright ang position kaya hindi nakakapagod. Mababa ang seat height at 785mm kaya naka-flat foot dito ang typical na 5'4" na Pinoy. And lastly, the looks. It is modern and very sporty. Hindi mo mapagkakaila na magkapatid sila ni Kawasaki ZX10R. And for our top 2, we have the Honda CBR 500R. The CBR 500R is one of the best looking sports bike on this list. And that is because it has design cues taken from the CBR 1000 RRR Fireblade. The CBR 500R sits between the 400cc and 600cc class. Meron itong 471cc parallel twin, so mas malapit siya sa 400cc category. You can tell immediately that the CBR 500R is trying to compete directly with the Ninja 400 and RC390 from its output of 46 horsepower and 42.1 Nm of torque with a top speed of 185 km per hour. At gusto niya makalamang by having a slightly bigger engine. It also has larger front and rear tires, similar to bigger middleweight and liter bikes. On paper, it is every bit as good as a Ninja 400. But note that this bike is much heavier at 191 kilograms. That means the power to weight ratio is lower and the maneuverability is less agile. On the track, the CBR 500R is a good performer but will be outpaced by its competitors. That is not to say that the CBR 500R is a lesser bike. You must recognize that this bike is all about the Honda Fireblade heritage. Hindi lahat ng tao gusto ng Kawasaki Green or KTM Orange. This bike is also about comfort with its soft suspension and upright handlebars. This makes the CBR a perfect long ride companion. It has a seat height of 785mm, abot na abot ng average 5'4" Pinoy. The best thing about this bike is that it has been repriced from a high of 413,000 pesos to a much lower price point of 349,000 pesos. Nagulat ako kung gaano siya kamura ngayon compared last year. That is quite a bargain for a bike with a Honda stamp of good build quality. So, if a sporty look and a comfortable ride is your thing, and you want to be different from the rest of the pack, the repriced CBR 500R is perfect for you. We are now at the end of our list. Hindi nyo mahulaan to because it is not, strictly speaking, a 400cc bike. The number 1 on our list is the Kawasaki ZX25R. Ito ang pinakamahal na beginner bike at 410,000 pesos, and that is why it is at the top of our list. 250cc lang siya, but it produces power at the level of 400cc bikes, at 43.5 horsepower and 20.2 Nm of torque with a maximum speed of 190 km per hour. But it delivers power in a whole different way. Peak power is achieved at 15,500 RPMs compared to a Ninja 400, which achieves 45 horsepower at only 10,000 RPM. I am still confused as to whom this bike is for. My take is it will create a whole new category and racing scene of high-power 250cc bikes. Malaki ang kaha niya, sayang lang at hindi expressway legal. With a seat of 785mm, abot na abot ito ng average 5'4" Pinoy. For some reason, I find this bike really interesting. Sige, given na yung screaming sound ng inline 4 engine. But I would really want to try this bike on the track, not with higher cc bikes, but with fellow 25R bikes. Iibahin niya ang playing field because of its different riding characteristics and racing track goodies. Isa-isahin natin. Meron itong new trellis frame, electronic throttle valves, assist and slipper clutch, radial mount calipers, fully adjustable Showa big piston forks, adjustable rear suspension, radial tires, traction control, and quick shifter. So there you have it guys, our top 8 400cc bikes for 2021. I have included here a summary table in case buo na ang loob nyong bumili ng yung first big bike. Ang personal choice ko ay Ninja 400 and Svartpilen 401. Yun lang, wala akong pera pambili. Since you've reached this part of the video, you might as well subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for sticking around and see you on our next ride.